which are, of course, coincidence, he says. All right. Now, I believe, I discovered the other day, David Icke's writing a book, or is about to release a book, which very much touches on the moon, these coincidences and so on. I've been writing about this, as many of you might know, for a while. It's going to be interesting to see what David comes up with. I know one or two of his conclusions, and I have to say, I heartily agree. No doubt he'll take it beyond that. So it's into that area that we'll move probably after the break, and we'll take it from there. So in summary so far, all I'm pointing out is that the story of Jesus is false, constructed by the church, around a very real happening at the time. I said earlier that Jesus, for example, created a revolution, that he was a revolutionary. And yet the revolution was in AD 70, for anyone who's done the research. That's when the Jews were overthrown and so on. They failed in their revolution, basically. And yet Jesus was crucified AD 30, whenever. Not true. Not true at all. You know what's known at the top of the church? You read in the Bible and many other references, and he went into the wasteland for 40 years. And all this sort of thing. 40, 40, 40. I'll show you why 40 later. What it literally means is that the story they're telling you actually took place 40 years later. Now, I don't expect everything to come together for you there, but there's two deceptions throughout history. Josephus was Paul. He was also, I'm terrible with names, it will come back to me. And if you don't believe this, do go look. As I say, you're entitled to your opinions, but this is known. Paul and Saul were Josephus. He was also Joseph of Arimathea. He was also Rabbi Yohanan. That's the Jesus character in the Jewish faith. All right? He was the same person. How could he pretend to be all of these people? He didn't really pretend to be. He had them. These were pen names. He didn't sit behind a desk and just write out these gospels and things. He literally had a university. He was the largest employer on the planet. He had over 300 scribes. Tells you this. A university of scribes writing these very documents that were then altered, or whatever, by the church. That's what he did. It was the biggest undertaking ever, to gather these documents, put them together, and then create the religions, which is what Paul tried to do, which is why Jesus repeatedly called him the liar and stood against him, pointing out that you do not build a church. Lift up a rock and there I am. This is the Gospel of Thomas, the most suppressed gospel ever. And if anyone's ever read it, you'll sharp see why. Wonderful film called Stigmata. I saw a few years ago. If you haven't seen it, watch that. The directors were very much aware of the story I'm telling, and that's what the film is about. Behind our reality lies another reality. How would you put it? A spiritual world, so that you may have belief in communicating with spirits. It's hard to define this. There is a spiritual reality behind our physical reality. Some of you have insights into it. Some of you have beliefs like, yes, that's Jesus, or it's the Buddhist faith, or whatever. No, this spiritual reality has been known for thousands of years, literally. It is the ancient knowledge. How can that be? Well, mankind existed on this planet for hundreds of thousands of years. Not as a matter of speculation, but a matter of absolute proof. You can do it tomorrow. You can go out and prove this. Alright? Again, it's known in the secret societies. Question is, did the knowledge evolve over time? Or was it given to them by external sources? Or something else? What is this knowledge? Well, a lot of you are seeing it in the New Age now. It's all about resonance and so on. What they don't want you to know, and when I say they, I mean those who are indoctrinating this New Age movement, and I don't intend to name any of them. Some of you might have your own insights into that. I couldn't claim to be right as to who's doing what. It's not relevant. It simply is happening. So, from what I've said, imagine that tomorrow this New World Order body, whoever they are, doesn't matter, presents a second coming for you. Project Blue being whatever you want to call it. What are the Christians around the world going to do? I won't even go into it. If you can ponder that question, you will see the great scam that's about to be pulled. It will result in the Christian element turning against, well, this esoteric knowledge will be called satanic. It's not satanic at all. It's just the nature of the world. So, what I'll do, spend 5-6 minutes bringing it round. I know I've majored on the Christian thing. I know I've not proven anything to you. I have given you 2 keys there. Josephus being these different characters, provably so. And if it comes to another lecture, I'll do that. He was the same characters. You also have this 30 to 40 year offset. And thanks for that. Which actually brings all the timelines in the Bible into line. What they're trying to avoid is the fact that Jesus had a revolution AD 70. They don't need you to know that. Because the second you do, history falls into place. Now I've taken all of these facts, and the scientific ones we'll go on to later, up in front of some of the world's leading scientists over the last 20 or 30 years. I won't name drop, but you'll have heard of them all. And I've challenged them with this. Not one of them, and I'm talking theologians as well, not one of them has come back with what I've shown them and said, that's wrong. But I'm going to show you facts in the second half, which I ask you, prove me wrong. We're going to touch on sacred geometry. It's a very complicated subject. It's not. It's not at all. I'm going to show you the one thing, there's 2 laws actually, but one element which touches and unifies all of sacred geometry, and hopefully give you some sort of understanding as to why it's relevant, because this is the weapon that's being used against you. Okay? Any questions at this point? No, you're all bored to death, yeah?
Yeah, no.
Go on, then.
I know Mike wants to stop now. Where did the church come into, in 325 when the Nicene Council got together, and there was a lot of stuff taken out of the Bible?
Yeah.
So how much of that what was taken out wasn't true?
It's not that stuff was taken, well, that's an unanswerable if you think about it, but it's not that stuff was taken out of the Bible, alright, because the Bible was just formed then. It wasn't taken out as such. They decided what they were going to put in, I think is what you're getting.
Because the book of Enoch.
Yeah.
It's missing.
You have, and these books are there to read. Now I fell into this originally because a colleague, or the brother of a colleague, was a priest in the Roman Catholic Church, went on secondment, came back with a copy of should I say the original Lord's Prayer, and a copy of the Gospel of Thomas. Alright? This actually became a plot in the movie Stigmata later on. Coincidentally. There's not really coincidences about any of this sort of thing. The church has a secret, and the day you find it out, it ceases to exist. It does not destroy and will not destroy your spiritual beliefs or insights at all. It's no coincidence that you're working with a church today who is being accused of raping children, child molestation for a long time, people doing all sorts of things. This truly is, and this is a hard one for some people to accept, but it truly is, because if you're looking for your Satan, it was long established in the organised church. That's what they do behind the scenes. Yes.
What do you think of the recent news that Pope's chief exorcist, who apparently the film is based on, has come out and said the devil is in the Vatican?
Oh, yeah, actually I heard that yesterday on the radio, I think. Well, the devil is in the Vatican. He's using it rather as an excuse, like the devil's coming amongst all these good people, and as soon as we root him out, everything will be alright again. Well, they've taken a bloody long time over it because it's 2,000 years on. this organisation controls the world. Did you know, for example, that